Hello and welcome back to Critical Reactions, the channel. We have an update video today. Usually my update videos are every 6 months at a time, but I'm looking to change that in order to achieve some more rapid growth with the channel. So instead we're going to be looking at maybe an update video every 2 to 4 weeks, primarily because I'm not a business person, so I prefer to have transparency and crowdsource ideas in order to make sure that the things I do are smart or good or will help the channel progress. If you ask any of my patrons, you'll know that anytime I make any changes to Patreon, the first thing I do is present a post and ask people their opinions and see if I can get any feedback on it and change it up. It's like a first draft, and y'all are my editors. So that's what we're doing today. As far as scheduling releases of these or recording of these or any of that, like the whole scheduling thing, ignore it. The next video we'll come back and we'll probably talk about how any of this can be done. But right now I'm more interested in how much of this sounds good because the channel is changing. As I've mentioned, I'm not really much of a business person, so what I've been doing with the channel is just going with the flow, and that's why the channel hasn't really changed much in 3-ish years. The first year the channel was a little different, but as I grew into this guy that overthinks music and makes hour-long videos about 5-minute songs, I just kind of stuck with that, and we've expanded on that idea as we've gone through, but maybe it's time to shake things up. With that said, for anybody who's here for the long-form content, it's not going anywhere. It's not changing. Long form song reactions, long form album reactions will stick around. They're the cornerstone of the channel. They are the unique aspect that differentiates me from pretty much every other reactor out there. I'm not getting rid of that. You guys helped me get this big. We're at 29,500 subscribers. I'm not turning my back on y'all. I know what y'all want. We're going to keep going for that. But maybe there's some other stuff here that could help bring in some people who aren't necessarily wanting to sit down for an afternoon to watch one of my videos in place of a movie. And in the reaction cases, sometimes longer than a film. So I've been looking at ways to do this while also getting more music on the channel and allowing myself to have a little bit more control over what we listen to on the channel. One of the things I thought about is album reviews, which is like the album reaction but condensed. What if I took out the album? Not a reaction anymore, and now I don't have to play an hour's worth of music. Well, that brings the length of the video down quite substantially, and I'll have already listened to it and can speak about it concisely. If the majority of the album has one sound to it, I don't need to talk about that sound at the end of every track. It is just the sound of the album at that point, and now it's a much condensed, less time taken to say the same thing. So all in all, it would pretty much be a 15 to 30 minute video about an album that pretty much wraps up all of the analysis sections, taking out some of the more track specific moments and focusing more on what the album does as a whole, thematically and theoretically, as far as music and composition go, while possibly talking about each track specifically for a little bit of time, and even if I have the ability, tossing in some editing through post in there, in which case I can play some clips about specific riffs I want to talk about. On the whole, though, it would basically be a condensed reaction, which could be paired with an album reaction, in which case I've already spent the time listening to it and creating my thoughts. Now I just need to create a rough guide and record 15, 20 more minutes worth of content. Or I can do it about other albums, in which would allow me to speak about more albums on the channel than just one per week. And while you won't get the benefit of seeing my reaction to the song itself, maybe I can find another way to do that through live streams, where it's just the reaction and then later I post my condensed thoughts, the review, on YouTube. I don't know. Those are a couple of ideas I've thought of just about getting more albums on the channel because for a month is a lot of time for me, but it's also limited. And it doesn't allow me to listen to a lot of albums. Um, and I listen to a lot of albums on my own too that I want to talk about and don't have a format for that. So I was also thinking about that when I came up with this idea. Now, these other few that I've come up with are kind of my idea of having a little bit more control over what content shows up on the channel. One, because again, I don't really get to talk too much about what I have found, what I like, what I want to talk about. A lot of it is, well, 100% of it is chosen by y'all. So, and the other aspect would be introducing more mainstream or recent music on the channel in an attempt to get more viewers on the channel as well. One of them is recent releases, which would basically be reactions to stuff that just came out. That's definitely one of the biggest ways to get more subscribers to a channel is just to talk about music that's hot topic right now. And we had that with Ren. And even that I was a month late on, but we had a huge number of views on that video. And one of the most common comments I had was, wow, I really like this type of content you're making. No one else does reactions like this, but I don't recognize anything in your playlists, anything in your video library. I don't know any of these bands. Um, and I was like, that's true. So maybe a way to get more mainstream stuff on the channel through the recent releases would be a way to bring in a second group of fans to the channel. And maybe through sheer exposure, much like me being more of a rock normie when I started this journey into metal, might slowly find their way to appreciating some of the harsher sounds as well. Something else I found quite interesting, which kind of aligns with it, in fact, these might even be able to run together in a bit, was a Freestyle Friday, is what I call it. And it's basically, I'll record for an hour, set time, and I'll click a link, and I'll react to it, maybe like a 10 or 15 minute smaller reaction, possibly something closer to what I do on live streams, just without chat to derail me. And say a little bit about the song and then just click on another one. Wherever YouTube takes me, wherever Bandcamp takes me, whatever platform I'm on, maybe it's recent releases, maybe I just really have the song stuck in my head. I want to share it with you, and then I, take a train from there. We end up reacting to some crazy stuff. But yeah, just like 4 to 5 songs an hour for this block. Just kind of seeing what goes on there. Going back to the idea of controlling what's on the channel, though, have you heard is a format that I would like to do, in which case I present a song or maybe an album or maybe a series of songs that all share similar themes. I don't know. Where I say, have you heard this? And I get to present to you some stuff that I really enjoy or something that I found this week. This album dropped and I listened to it and it was phenomenal. I want to share that with y'all. And right now, the only process I have for sharing music is the music channel on Discord and YouTube community posts. Not all of my YouTube subscribers are on Discord, which is fine. And not all of my YouTube subscribers look at the community posts, which is equally fine. Y'all do exactly what you want to do. I'm not going to tell anybody they need to watch every single thing I do. But neither one of those seems to get the same kind of traction that a video does. So a way to share my favorite stuff through video is something that I'm really interested in doing. The last thing is more of a way to help support smaller artists, which is something I call Bandcamp Friday. Nope, I can't call it that. That's what Bandcamp calls it. The first Friday of every month, Bandcamp as a platform takes zero revenue from all sales. And so I was thinking that the first thing on a Friday, maybe like 10 a.m., give or take Eastern Standard Time, which would give me enough time to record the video and upload it. Ooh, that might even be tight. Anyways, an earlier video than usual where I kind of highlight some stuff on Bandcamp that you might be interested in. That, for right now, completely supports the artist. Um, I think it'd be a really great way to showcase some stuff that people might not know about. Maybe people are interested in supporting artists but don't know anybody on Bandcamp, and I could also use it to support the artists that we have on the channel. Many of our creator request bands have Bandcamp pages, and this would be a really great way to say, hey, you remember that track we listened to 2 weeks ago? Yeah, you can buy that whole album right now, and every cent goes to the band. And that'd just be another way that I can help support, especially the smaller band, um, in the community and the music industry as a whole. And give another, what do you call it, a spotlight on some of the smaller bands, possibly in a way that I can't do with Creator Request, because once again, it's one band a week, and I probably get 2 or 3 emails a week. So, I can't necessarily showcase every band that emails me through this, but maybe I can give them a shout out here through this video highlighting bands that you can purchase their stuff on Bandcamp Friday, the first Friday of every month, and give them 100% of the proceeds. So, yeah, those are some ideas I have. Again, we're not going to do all of them because I still want to have a nice chunk for the traditional content we do. But there's some ideas on ways that we can expand the channel in a way that I think is going to help bring in new people, elevate smaller bands, allow me to inject a little bit of my personality into the channel. I'm the extreme metal reactor, and I don't listen to most of the stuff I react to. So the channel isn't really reflective of my tastes in music, and I don't know. I think it'd be cool just to do a little bit, even if it's like once a month, just like the Bandcamp video. Again, scheduling is something we'll figure out later, but I think it'd be cool to do all of these. I know that's not possible, but let me know in the comments which of these sound interesting to you. Do all of them sound interesting? Do you have feedback or criticism about any of them? Does one of them sound really cool, but you actually have a neat twist? And Bryan, what if you did this with it? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's fantastic. That really elevates it. Can some of these be combined? I don't know. Give me any feedback you can, because I'm really wanting to expand on the channel, but I don't want to alienate anyone, and I'm going to try to make as little missteps as I can, and having more eyes on my decisions is going to help with that. So, as usual, be critical, not cynical, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening.